Welcome to the Boardroom. On our show today, on the ice in the East, the hockey team heads to Massachusetts to take on UMass Lowell and Boston University. And it's Michigan State week. Brady Hoke and company head to East Lansing on Saturday, where they are heavy underdogs to take on the Spartans. And finally, the real rivalry. The Michigan Daily takes on the State News in a tradition that is as old as the newspaper itself. Thanks for watching. I'm Simon KAUFMAN, alongside co-managing sports editors Alejandro Zuniga and Greg Garno. Let's start with hockey. Michigan opened its home games last weekend against New Hampshire, dropped the first game Friday night 5-1, and came back and edged them out Saturday night 2-1. What was the biggest difference between those two contests?
Yeah, well, I was at the game, and you talked with Coach Red Berenson at the end, and Red was saying that the biggest difference was attitude. He said it was night and day, and so you could kind of see that they played not quite like a team. Of course, they played like a team the first night, but they had more cohesion together. Really seemed to get passes going stronger, pushing forward in the zone. Was making a big difference in the way they played from the night before when they were disorganized and trying to make too many things happen.
Absolutely, yeah. I was at the second game as well, and Michigan made a goaltender substitution. They brought in Steve Racine, took out Zach Nagelvort. Now Nagelvort has a hamstring injury. We're waiting to hear more about that. But Racine did a fantastic job. He stopped all but one shot, had more than 30 saves on the night. And the strength of this Michigan hockey team is its offense. Weakness is a bit its defense. But you can ride a team based on your goaltender, and they did that with Racine.
All right, they're headed to Massachusetts this week. Two tough contests. UMass Lowell ranked 8th, BU ranked 11th. What do they have to do to walk away with 2 wins after this weekend?
Well, Simon, like I was just saying, Michigan has played 2 regular season games at Yost this season. They have scored 3 goals. That's not going to cut it. Michigan needs to score goals. It needs to do something to give its defense, give its goaltender a little bit of support. Michigan is very talented on its top lines. They need to find the back of the net.
And just to counter that, I think it's also going to have to be stepping up from these young guys. You see the Zach Borwenskis we're talking about, the Dylan Larkins, these guys that come in with so much promise, but they need to step up. They need to find a way to get going. You can see the flashes of it when they play, but they're going to have to do something to because right now the upperclassmen are doing a lot and they just need some help.
All right, on to football. The team heads to East Lansing on Saturday for its game against the Spartans. This is one of the great college rivalries, really, but Michigan seems to be downplaying it. Are they just trying not to get caught up in the fuss of it, or is this rivalry not what it used to be here?
I think you touched on it. I really think they're not trying to overplay it. Part of it, too, could simply be that they've got just a difficult season going on right now, and they've got to focus on winning, as they talked about. But it really is surprising to me that they just haven't acknowledged simply this is a big game for us. And so it's a little curious right now as to why they aren't.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I mean, heck, you look at the Diag a couple days ago. Some guy came and spray painted the block M green. It was national news. This football team knows what this rivalry means. They know what it means to the fans, to their families, and we assume it means that much to them as well. So if they're not saying it, I don't believe that's because they're not feeling it. I think they know this is a big rivalry, and I think we'll see that played out on Saturday.
If they were to pull out a huge upset on Saturday and take down the Spartans, what would it ultimately come down to? Alejandro, we'll start with you.
Yeah, well, the number that gets tossed around last year is minus 48. The Spartans held Michigan to negative 48 rushing yards, worst in program history. This isn't that same Michigan State defense. This Michigan State defense has struggled a lot this year against Power 5 opponents. Not that Michigan has done well, but I think there are signs that Michigan could score some points and hope like hell they can keep the Spartans off the board.
Yeah, I really think it's going to come down to Michigan's offensive performance. They've got to be able to stay on the field. We watch them, and they're going off so quick, and they're leaving that defense on too long. And thankfully, they're getting bailed out by them. But Devin Gardner's got to be able to make passes. He's got to be able to get them on time. He's struggling with that. We've got to be able to see the running game get more than 1 yard per carry, because they're really struggling in that department. And the line has got to be able to just protect altogether. They really fell apart against State. You can see them just really struggling to keep together right now. So if they can do all those things, I really think they might have a shot to keep up with the Spartans.
And finally, more of an off-the-field issue. The Daily broke on Thursday that going into next season, student ticket prices would be lowered. This about coming after a lot of talk between student government and the athletic department. You guys talked to the athletic department. What did the athletic department have to say about this move?
Yeah, we sat down with Bobby Deschel, the president of CSG, student government, and Dave and Hunter Lockman, and they seem that they really think that this is something where they're connecting with students, and I think one of the biggest things is that they've acknowledged that, hey, we had a really bad year last year selling tickets, and that alarms us. That's not good for us. That's not good for our players. So what we want to do is find a way that would bring students back. And one of the things they realize is that we are charging too much for a ticket, to come and sit in the stands. And so if we can make it a way where people can come and experience the games, that's what they were really stressing. I think they're really looking to get that fan base back.
And does this do that, or are they still pretty far from reconnecting with the students?
It's a great first step. The problem is it's end of October and it might be too late for a first step. Great, you've dropped your season ticket prices to $175. That's what they were a few years ago. The prices have gone up a lot lately, and Dave Brandon wants to reconnect with the students, and I think there are signs that he's trying very hard to do that. Mm-hmm. It may be too late for him. Time will tell, but this was absolutely a good move on their part.
Mm-hmm. All right, finally, in what many people would call the real rivalry game this weekend, the Michigan Daily staff will play the Michigan State newspaper, the State News, on Friday night in a game of football. Traditional that they play before the game. A look at the numbers. The Daily was founded in 1890. The State News got a late start, but they started printing in 1909. Both papers have done a great job covering campus affairs, but what really matters is what comes down to Friday on the gridiron. The two papers' staffs have been doing this at a while. Michigan, the Daily, is 9-0 in over the last 9 years. Going into this game, the Daily has obviously lost a lot of talent to the ESPNs, the NFL networks, the USA Today's, LA Times, New York Times, you name it. What is this team able to do to reload every year?
Well, I think one of the biggest things is that we practice and we simply we get really inspired by this. This is a big game for us, and you may say it's just a game of touch football, but I think one of the things is that we got more than 30 kids out there on the field practicing with us, and I think it's a really good way to come together, and it helps too when you've got just some great athletes covering these sports.
Alejandro?
Yeah, as we were talking about before the show, the Daily, we don't rebuild, we reload. Yeah. And one of the great things is that, yes, we've lost a lot of talented players to ESPN, to USA Today, but they stay here all 4 years. And that has given the younger players a chance to develop under Coach Garneau's system. And we will be prepared on Friday.
I'm liking our offense right now. I'm really, really pumped about our defense. I think right now we're looking at a more balanced, more deep team than last year. I'm going to be really pumped to see.
Well, there you have it. It's nice to have a football coach that'll actually tell us a little something about the team. So hockey heads to the east this weekend. Football, of course, in East Lansing. And what might be the more competitive game, the Michigan Daily taking on State News. Thanks for joining us, Simon Kaufman, alongside Alejandro Zuniga and Greg Garneau. Make sure to catch our content Monday through Friday in print and every day online at michigandaily.com. Cheers. Cheers.